I think you will agree with me that the first session was indeed a very insightful one. Listening to Dr. Wasilwa break down for us science in such an elegant and graceful and simple way was actually very, very, very enriching. It is always very beautiful to see science presented in simple language. Dr. Wasilwa has painted to us what actually it means for women to play in the agricultural systems. She has made it clear that we need to know what to grow, what to keep if it's livestock. We need to understand the value chain. We need to understand where the different opportunities actually lie. And as women, I think this then provides us an opportunity to ask ourselves, where can we play best? Where are we best placed to actually make a contribution, make an impact, position ourselves, and in doing so actually make some money as well. Our next session is on manufacturing. This also is indeed a very interesting conversation. Manufacturing is critical in the economic development of any country. Indeed, our National Blueprint Vision 2030 says that this country will grow based off the backbone of industrialization. Where are women when it comes to this? What does it mean? I think one of the things that Dr. Wasilwa has been able to point out is really the critical factor that we need to undertake around manufacturing in providing value addition to agricultural crops. Agriculture provides a natural low-lying fruit with regard to providing the base for the manufacturing sector. But even as I move on, I think I'd want to also again tell us something, a little fact that is interesting for us to think about. According to McKinsey, household expenditure in Africa is projected to increase to $2.1 trillion. That's actually about 200 trillion Kenya shillings. If we think of the ratios of expenditure, we can actually assume that around $600 billion of this will be spent on manufacturing goods. Big market opportunity. What are we doing about it as women? Let us think in this direction as well. So the next panel brings together an excellent mix of voices. These are reputable players in the manufacturing sector. It will be moderated by Zuhura Odhiambo. Zuhura Odhiambo is a leading expert in business management, organization development, and a communications and media expert, and has got over 15 years experience in marketing. For the past 2 decades, she has had extensive experience in the field of communication, marketing strategy, events, and brand management. She has been instrumental in exploring the convergence between marketing strategies and the use of data for organizational transformation. Her desire is to see businesses develop winning strategies, generate multiple income streams, and nurture strong brands. Over the years, she has enabled companies to turn around in East Africa through enhanced consumer experience and increase of revenue for sustainability. Zuhura is a co-founder and director of Coco by Design, an events management firm with activities in Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. She is also the current CEO of New Revenue Solutions Africa, a prolific revenue-generating company which enables organizations accelerate profitable revenue through the use of data, strategy, and commercial development. Her experience in media sector spans over 10 years at the Nation Media Group and Capital Group and CNBC as a commercial director. Zuhura, welcome to the floor. Take over this session and tell us what manufacturing is all about and what it portends for women. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Betty, for sharing that. Indeed, today We are very happy today to have the first inaugural Women Economic Forum that is going down, not only in Kenya, but online. We've got people from Nigeria, Niger, we've seen people from Ethiopia, Rwanda, all wanting to know about manufacturing. And the best part about it is also the bigger part of the African free trade areas that have been opened right now. Of course, we are rejuvenated that we are ensuring that all women have actually been involved in reshaping the Kenyan economy through manufacturing. Of course, we know manufacturing is the engine of growth that drives the economy, creating decent and stable jobs, as well as creating wealth and improving livelihoods. Development in technology, new business models are transforming the way products and services are designed and made and distributed. Of course, businesses need to pursue opportunities and adopt the transforming value chains. Women also need to be supported to thrive in manufacturing in order to eliminate poverty in all its forms and dimension. They form half of the world's population and hence the need of the full participation in the economy. We must harness all talents in order to tackle challenges and offer innovative solutions to our people for the achievements of the SDGs. Of course, with the opening of markets, the EAC, the COMESA, Africa, US, AGOA, UK, etc., value chain strengthening is key, supporting inclusive manufacturing. New value chains are also emerging as technologies evolve. Let us not leave anyone behind as we build manufacturing excellence now and in the future. Of course, and today we have lovely panel, women who are making it in manufacturing, that will be able to introduce the panel. We have Akinyi Odongo, the creative designer of Akinyi Odongo, Kenya. We have Mary Geshu, Managing Director, Lineplast, Mary. We have Tessa Caleb, Secretary, Mashinani, Fabricators Juakali Association. We have Farida Kerubo, Electrical and Electronics Engineer at Gearbox. Of course, today it's an amazing day. And just seeing these women who are making it in manufacturing, so that when we tell you, it's not just a story and it's not hearsay, but you'll hear from them and you should not tire from being part of them and joining them to be able to reshape the economy of this country. Of course, we've seen a lot of things that are happening with Gearbox, and allow me to be able to start with you and ask you a few questions there. We have Farida, this comes to you. And we've seen, and you've seen the TVC that was shared before this, amazing work that's there. Farida, women have often met barriers in job placements, especially in what has conventionally been male-dominated industries. What has been your experience as a young woman in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and maths, and particularly being part of Gearbox? So we'll be able to, Farida. So let me take this to Mary. Yes, Mary, you're our queen of manufacturing, loving the work that you're doing. How do we make manufacturing become competitive in the digital world? Welcome.
Thank you, Subura. And it's interesting when you talk about manufacturing and you talk about digital world. Because manufacturing is a lot of processing to literally come up with a product. But that does not leave the digital part of manufacturing, because when you're in manufacturing, there's a lot of automation that you can be able to do, which need digital technology. And also in the processes of being a manufacturing, there's quite a lot that you can do. An example that I would give from a quick thought, especially for the women, is like when you look at a product, there are several, when you're able to map your processes, and then you're able to understand that you have suppliers, you have market, and you have the actual operational process to make the product. So you can be able to digitalize your supply by understanding and communicating and shortlisting who are going to be your suppliers. You can be able to develop a supply chain that is able to almost tell you 100% before you go to the market to shortlist what you want. There are also other things that you can be able to do, especially into the marketing side. You can be able to educate your consumer about your product from a digital platform. You can be able to do all your promotions from a digital platform. Right? The 2020 through COVID, we have seen that almost everybody has turned into buying from online platforms. So you can be able to sell through digital platform. You can also be able to get consumer feedback, your customer feedback through digital platform. All this interaction without you spending so much money in terms of physical appearance to interact with your customers in the market, and they would then be able to help you to make better decision in how it is that you deliver or what it is exactly that your consumer wants. Automating your processing, simple, like understanding how you can be able to get reports in terms of production from your machinery, even from your team, on a click of a phone or a computer. Those are simple ways that we can be able to digitalize our manufacturing processes. I don't know whether I've answered your question, Zura.
Yes, of course you have, Mary, and very good job that you're doing, with LionPlus, and we really, honor you and happy that you are encouraging more women to, come in and see that it's possible. Of course, we've seen what you've also done on the recyclable and environmental friendly PETs that you are working with, and thank you so much for sharing that. Now this comes to Akinyi Odongo. We saw, your TVC, Buy Kenya, Build Kenya. I saw the other day when COVID was there, you rallied a lot of tailors across the country to be able to come up with masks. I don't know how many tailors those were, but there were many tailors that came in, and even the other things that, are being able to create the jobs for them because nobody was going to them at that particular time. If I may ask you, Akinyi, what strategies can we use to integrate women into manufacturing and research chains from your creative perspective?
Thank you, Zuhura, for the question. And first of all, I just want to break it down for people that when we talk about manufacturing, we seem to think very, big machinery and everything that, that has a lot of investment. As the event was starting, I was seeing some women from Makueni, giving their testimonies on what they've been able to do. And it was basic things that they were doing, which we don't look at as manufacturing. In fact, when it comes to manufacturing, I do believe that manufacturing has been with us here in Africa for a long time. It's just that we've not been able to monetize it. And it's high time we monetize everything that we do. We manufacture everybody's a manufacturer. From in the morning, all of us made tea or made coffee, whichever. You are manufacturing something. So I think we need to first break down that manufacturing is as simple as making or creating something. It may be for yourself or for others, but the thing that you make for yourself, how can you be able to monetize it so that you're able to make it for others too and earn money out of it? And that's one of the things that I think we need to have broken up. We need to understand that manufacturing is not just big machineries and employing thousands of people, but in our own ways, wherever we are, even in our homes, we manufacture a lot of stuff. COVID has really pushed a number of us, and most people are working from home or manufacturing something from home, and they're selling online. So when I look at, especially for me, when we're talking.
Okay, we must have lost Akinyi there. Disruption is the word that we are working with. And of course, it also comes in manufacturing as well. Very good, she was sharing that. But even as we look at it, now I go to Gearbox. Gearbox, we've seen, it's an initiative that aims at improving the ecosystem of hardware entrepreneurship, by providing flexible working space, sharing prototyping facilities. Kamau doing an amazing job with Gearbox, and of course training in manufacturing and fabrication and design, as well as mentorship, investment, and the opportunities and the community development. Of course, what they call Mashinani. Now, just to take you, Tessa, in regards to that, Gearbox and Mashinani are centered around the idea of providing maker spaces for shared use to promote mass market manufacturing. How is Mashinani scaling the manufacturing industry in Kenya, and how have you incorporated technology to promote the uptick?
Thank you very much, Zura. Just to put it in context, for those who are still new to it, Mashinani is a shared production space. So that is used to enable and house micro factories that convert manufacturing inputs into products. So it represents a unique demonstration of the provision of shared resources, which covers a wide gamut of processes for the launch of manufacturing. So what we end up doing is providing a space for a supportive ecosystem for hardware entrepreneurs. The space also features incubation space, and within that space, obviously, there's a lot of other services that all our apprentices and members are able to touch on. So this basically helps investors and entrepreneurs in bringing innovation and relevant products to the needs of the poor market. And that is what our key focus here is at Mashinani. We're working very closely with MasterCard and the KCB Foundation, which I just need to give you a little bit of context so that I can tell you how the platform runs and helps to build in the manufacturing sector is such that the MasterCard Foundation launched a program called the Young Africa Works through Kenya Commercial Bank, and is targeting to sort of create jobs, 30 million jobs across Africa in the next 5 years. Gearbox and Mashinani are partners in this process, whereby Gearbox is fulfilling the training aspect, and Mashinani is undertaking the production by developing a sustainable manufacturing cluster ecosystem for the small-scale micro industries in Kenya. So the recipients that we are dealing with here, or the beneficiaries for this program, are both skilled and unskilled, and are recruited through a registration process that is rigorous, that is actually looking to train 114,000 youth between the age of 18 to 35 years. There is a special focus on women, and the gender representation for the program is supposed to be 70 to 30, 70% women to 30% men. So we are progressively working towards attaining the set target. Out of the total trained beneficiaries right now, we stand at 40% of female trained engineers. This has been improving over the recruitment process, and we're putting a special effort in being able to target the women by going into women groups and being able to look at organizations that can get us better reach within that gender. Although the sector is still a male-dominated area, there's still a positive response, and we are seeing that through the recruitment intervals that have been taking place. We have another one upcoming in April, and we're hoping to achieve a 1-to-1 ratio during this one, because the interest being generated by the program is very key. And through this program, we will be opening these Mashinani centers, 10 of them across the country, which means that we'll be able to develop this capacity countrywide. And the module basically is not only to enhance availability of machines to the artisans or the engineers, but it's also to be able to provide a lot of other services to the informal sector from a training perspective to enable them to run their businesses. It could be business skills, it could be technical skills. So we're all trying to sort of like create a situation where we're able to match the skill sets to available opportunities and align our training with the Big Four agenda so that we're able to create more jobs within that sector.
Thank you, Tessa, for that, and just the highlight around it. Amazing. I mean, I know in some representation, I represent the 30% club, for women in driving gender diversity in boards. And today I've heard about the 70% women representation in the Jua Kali. Amazing. That is really good, and encouraging a lot of women to get into that sector, and even just being able to lead them and take them to higher heights. Amazing what Gearbox is doing. Farida, if I could ask you, women have met barriers in job placement, especially in what has conventionally been a male-dominated. What has been your experience as a young woman in STEM, and particularly being part of Gearbox?
Hi, so my name is Farida, and I'm glad to contribute to this discussion. So I recently graduated from the University of Nairobi and joined Gearbox. So I was here as an intern before I joined Gearbox, and I am one of the people who are hands-on working with machines and making some of these machines. So initially, when I came into the system, a lot of what I could hear from most women was what I would term as myths. Myths. Some of these would be such things like women getting into engineering and manufacturing are not seen as feminine, and this is a myth that I would really like to debug, because people will see you as who you are, no more, no less. I work with machines, I do installations, I build things, and I feel like as a woman in Gearbox, being here, it has given other women who come in here an opportunity to see themselves as being able to do that. I also think people coming into the industry, into the market, women especially, do feel like it's the physical requirements are too high to be in a manufacturing or an engineering world. The truth of the matter is, as an engineer, it's more of your mind than physical. You do get to do installations and everything, but a lot of the work that has to be done is more mind work. Yes, thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Farida Kerubo, of course, from Gearbox, encouraging those who are in STEM and having solution for those who feared the areas, but be able to see how we can be able to reshape the economy under the manufacturing sector. And this goes to Mary. Mary, I always smile when I think about all the work that you do. And a woman could do this. This is nice. How many more Marys are we going to create and can be able to tap onto the manufacturing industry? If I could ask you, Mary, how can we enhance capacity of women to understand the value chain within the manufacturing sector? How can we enhance them to understand that value?
Thank you, Sura. And I think this is the most interesting question that in manufacturing industry we should always ask ourselves as people. How can we enhance our capacity? I always said, who you are yesterday should not define who you're going to be tomorrow. And if you allow me, I'll share a bit of my journey, because I am trained as a telecommunication engineer. I worked for Telecom for 15 years. And then after 15 years, I got myself into entrepreneurship. I joined my husband, where we started a printing press, and after 6 years, we started the packaging. When I joined my husband to work with him at the printing press, I came in with the usual mind that I want to help him with administration, a bit of accounting, making tea in the office, and those were my basic role that I started with. But interacting with our customer, I realized that we are doing labels for them, and every label that we manufacture, they are putting that label. It is hard to manufacture plastic. I had no earlier experience. I had never seen plastic being manufactured, but I believe that if we are manufacturing labels and there's a need for containers, I can be able to skill myself and start manufacturing plastics. I started visiting exhibition and Googling and understanding how you make plastics. And we landed in an exhibition that was in China. I was able to physically see machineries that were making plastics. And because of the amount of money that we had, so we bought our first machineries from China. So it was the act of wanting to understand how can I be able to manufacture the containers, because I already knew that what I wanted to manufacture were the containers. So number one, understand what it is that you want to manufacture. Then from there, skill yourself to understand how that product is manufactured. After that, I needed to employ people. My first interview was a lesson for me, because that was when I was experiencing the people in the country, the experience in manufacturing of plastic. So of course, we took from the industry that are doing that. But I developed a big problem that I was not able to nurture or build a culture of what I wanted, because I brought in other people's culture. So I thought, let me build my own culture and train people. So that brought in a bit of people management to run my factory, and we started an apprenticeship program where we train our people, our culture, and also how to operate the machines that we bring in. We collaborate with our machine manufacturers. Any machine manufacturer or any of your supplier is a good source to educate your team on how to produce, because they will capacity build your people, because they want you to produce. They can sell more whether it is raw material, or they can sell more whether it is in machinery. So the moment then you understand your process, you look into what are the mistakes that you're making in your processes, and how can you improve your process? How can your processes be efficient? Then you capacity build yourself in improving efficiency in what it is that you're manufacturing. Then from there you go to your market, you listen to your market. I'll give an example of one mistake that we made. When we started our plastics, we thought that making a very heavy gauge plastic is what that the market would need. It was an expensive mistake, because when we got to the market, we realized that the market is more sensitive, not with the weight, but with the price. So we had to come up with a product that is at a suitable price for them. So when you get to the market, listen to what the market is saying. It would always help to understand your market before you invest, so that you understand what they really need and produce and give to them what they need. I keep saying, do not decide the market will necessarily like what you like. So when you're making a product, it's not what Mary like. It's doing a market research and understanding. So capacity build yourself and understanding your market, put a product to be able to solve a solution to the market. So there are these levels of capacity building yourself as a woman in manufacturing, but the whole basic is the basic line is to understand and understand the need of each part of your process. And if you have a need, you build your capacity in that. There's so much information from the suppliers who supply you, from the people who have been in the industry, from associations that are within your industry, from the internet. People have done it. It's not rocket science. Look at the good practices that you can be able to pick from there, and then you implement them. Remember that it is not about you, it's about the people. So create a solution for the people and not for you.
Wow, thank you, Mary. Quite encouraging. And of course, yeah, just knowing that it's not about you, it's about the people. What are you making for them? And what are they understanding your consumer before you can go and assume that you can be able to produce what could be relevant for them. So amazing. Thank you for that. Akinyi Odongo. Just again, seeing fashion. All of us are all dressed up. Everybody asks, what are you wearing? Who did it? Where did you get it? And it's a conversation that we've never thought that when you leave home every day, you're dressed, you know, in one way or the other, looking smart. And a lot of that has even started conversations, opening statements. What are you wearing? Where did you get it? You look nice. And we like hearing those. Of course, Akinyi, what would you tell us? How would we be able, how do we keep manufacturing competitive in this digital world? We've seen how a lot of designers have gone into Instagram. You can be able to, you know, order, find out what is happening. It's gone beyond. And what's the role of women within the value chain ecosystem that we can be able to see how you can be able to get your market, you know, for you, and how possible is it? What did you tell us about that?
Thank you, Zuhura, for the question. I think, as you just mentioned, COVID has taught us a lot. And personally, I hadn't taken, you know, online selling very seriously. But during COVID, it's something that now we realize as a business, we have to consider it very, very, very seriously. The other thing that we are working on is with the policy of Buy Kenya, Build Kenya. And we are trying to be very intentional on dressing Kenyans and providing affordable clothing for Kenyans, and probably also produce an affordable line that will be able to, you know, can be spread across the country. And that's something that we are actually working on. The opportunities that I see for those who are in the fashion industry, especially women, if you go to Gikomba or you go to Uhuru Market, you find many of them are actually women. So one of the opportunities that I've actually seen that women should take advantage of is partnering with the government institutions, Rivertex, which I think it's very critical that because they're producing fabrics locally and they're actually getting cotton from cotton farmers across Kenya. It's an opportunity for those of us who are in the industry to start, interacting with those with the manufacturers that are currently doing manufacturing. Initially, we had about 52 factories, millers in Kenya, and until there was a liberation on trade liberation in the 1990s, they were all closed. So now we have about 4 or 3 of them that are existing and working. So how do we as designers or as tailors or people who are in the fashion industry interact with those factories and millers to get fabrics so we're able to produce and get clothing that is affordable? The reason why sometimes our outfits could be much more expensive, there's a lot of, when you import fashion fabrics, there's a lot of cost, there's a higher cost to it. And getting affordable clothing is one of the priorities that we are working on as a brand. And also I was privileged to be part of a document that we are working on with the Ministry of Industrialization, where we are seeing how do we develop outfits that are going to be affordable for all Kenyans. And we are hoping that the results will be seen soon. And this is something that women across all counties should take advantage of and be on the lookout, because we are looking into involving all the county governments with all the governors to buy into it and see how Rivertex will be able also to produce fabrics that are affordable, which will enable the designers or the tailors across the country to also create affordable clothing, and also just go beyond just talking about it, but also being practical. As we all know, the president of this country has been in the forefront, wearing local shirts. I think they're made from locally produced material. It's such an encouragement, and it's a goodwill that we should all need to borrow and see if everybody has to wear something local. It doesn't have to be even a bangle that is made locally. Still buy Kenya, build Kenya. If we are intentional in doing that, then this will be spread across. Even the woman in the front of a shop in Meru somewhere will be able to produce some outfits for somebody to dress. And we are also looking into how do we make Fashion Friday something that everybody is buying into. So these are some of the things that are opportunities that are there, and we should not lose hope. Anyone who is teaching, whether you are in the village somewhere in Isiolo, or there's an opportunity for us, but we have to be intentional as Kenyans to buy locally produced, whether it's tea or it's in manufacturing. We just need to be very intentional, and especially supporting the cottage industry. There are many businesses that are doing their small businesses from home, and a number of us also, many people have now maybe closed shop because they can't afford rent or the challenges that are there. It's time to come together and see how do we work together, and I do believe in creating solutions for the problems that we do have. And again, with that, just with the experiences that I've been able to have, I'm looking into creating a space where we can have different brands, selling in that particular place, and that's something that we'll be able to share later. So there are opportunities, and I think we need to support each other. Buy local. I'm very passionate about Buy Kenya, Build Kenya, and support any small businesses that are there. And all those businesses are manufacturers. Whether you're only starting with 4 jars of jam, or you're only making 2 shirts or 5 blouses, you are a manufacturer. And that's something that you need to put in your mind, that as a manufacturer, you're working towards making your things, it will reach a point when you're automating things, just as Mary was trying to say. But again, you can create structures that will be able to build your business from producing that 1 shirt to producing thousands and thousands of shirts. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you, Akinyi. And I like the part of demystifying manufacturing. It starts all the way from down there when you can do 1 piece, 2 piece, 3 pieces, and all the way to industries. And of course, with a lot of programs that are skilling us up and scaling the women businesses, we are likely to see how we should then be those celebrated businesses that are there, that are reviving this economy. And we are ready to champion the manufacturing sector and encourage each and every woman who has got talent in whatever they are doing to be able to take it, and the market is there, and we can create the market linkages for them. This goes to you, Tessa Caleb. Mashinani, first of all, I like the name because it's machine and then nani, but it means again it's Mashinani. Mashinani recently got into partnership with the Kenya Federation of the Juakali Association so as to scale up opportunities in the Juakali sector. How will the partnership enhance the Juakali and more so integrate women into the manufacturing chain?
Right. When we look at the partnership that we currently have with the Federation, it's a strategic partnership that's basically combining the Gearbox and Mashinani's leading manufacturing capability and training services with the Federation's network across the country. And this can enable mass manufacturing opportunities to Juakali across the country. So it's simply about providing the artisans with the necessary training tools and equipment so that we can enable mass manufacturing of world-class products. The main issue that we've been seeing around the Juakali products that we get in the market is consistency. And this arises simply from the fact that they don't have access to the necessary tools that would be able to give them uniformity across the goods that they're producing. And this is what Mashinani is able to bring to the table by being able to give them the shared spaces where the machines are set up for them, and they basically become members of the same. So it's like joining a gym and you pay a membership and you get X number of hours using machines. So it's affordable to them and they're able to actually end up producing a product at the price point that is going to be marketable across the country, because competition being that we have a lot of import that's happening, and when we try to actually achieve the same quality of what we're getting from out there, then the cost tends to be higher because of basically access to these machines and the cost that they have to pay to actually utilize machines at areas that are now availing usage of those machines. So Mashinani is trying to make this more achievable for them through this partnership with the Federation. So we're also going a step further by trying to offer a structured mass market opportunity. I think it's Mary who was talking about undertaking what the market wants, which is a very key thing that we're doing here at Mashinani, because we're, as mentioned earlier, we're doing a human-centered design approach, which means that we're actually going to the market and we're trying to find out what do people want. As mentioned by Mary, sometimes what we think people want is not necessarily what is required. So we have a team that's doing a lot of research in terms of the market. What can we do that can be profitable for these micro industries that we're trying to develop? And even partnering with the government to a certain extent in terms of creating these opportunities. There is a list currently that has come out from the government whereby there are certain items or products that will not be imported again, and they're trying to basically support the informal sector to be able to produce these items. So being able to bridge that opportunity to the different ministries is also something that we're stepping in between in this partnership to try and lobby for them and try and get these jobs actually in the hands of the Juakali. We're also going in and offering technical capacity to the different groups, inclusive of life skills, and offering them an opportunity to actually have hands-on training using the machines that we have in our centers. Another difficulty that we've also picked up on the market is the fact that many of them will get some opportunities but do not have the financial capacity to be able to execute whatever contracts that they come in place. So Mashinani is also going a step further, in able to give value-added services and try to link financing to the sector. So partnering with financial institutions so that they're able to finance for the technology that they require, and as well as equipment acquisition in their case. So when we look at it from a women perspective, we're actually looking in groups within the Juakali, like for instance, the Baraka Women's Group in Gara, where we try to understand the challenges that they're having from a mass market production perspective, and offering them affordable solutions, going in and doing the technical training and business skills that they require, seeking opportunities for them in a public and private sector to empower the women within that industry. So in general, when we look at it, a traditional perception of manufacturing is usually looked at as physical work or bending metals or technical working machinery. But in Kenya, areas the manufacturing goes across from food processing, packing, printing. I mean, we're talking about fashion. You will find many women in these sectors. They are relegated to a more, let's say, repetitive and dexterity adept jobs, such as packing or finishing, when we look at it from a production perspective. The male roles are more skewed towards like machine operation. So the downside is that while there's a larger number of women who are employed, their non-technical roles result in a significant pay imbalance between the male and female. So whilst there's progress being made and female engineers are joining the workforce in increasing numbers, they are breaking the perception that not only men can operate machines and can change attitudes on those who are running factories and on whom we train. And this is what we're really trying to translate to this sector. By the virtue of our young population gender, the focus must be to impart the same skill across both the genders. So we're focused on bridging this practical manufacturing skill through the programs that we're running here. Like we mentioned, 28,000 beneficiaries will be trained in the next 5 years, 70% of them being female. So with all of the above training and opportunities given, as Akinyi Adongo had mentioned, they can go beyond and become practical and be actually intentional in how they approach things. We just need to look at some of the people who have gone through the training that we have given and seen how they've taken this and changed their whole life approach to the businesses that they're doing. We have a young lady who basically passed through here and through the training now started looking at a human-centered approach to her business. And what she set up was a company called Jijenge, whereby she was looking at taking plastics and manufacturing bricks for housing. And what Mashinani has helped her do is also basically build the necessary machine that is required for her to do mass production. And this machine, she's been able to actually now start producing it and selling it, leave alone just doing the production of the bricks themselves, which has actually given her international recognition for what she's doing. And this would have somebody in her normal situation not have really gotten that opportunity should she not have the access to that platform.
Yeah, that's really, really nice. And even just, I mean, from the story you've shared and even just trying to demystify and carrying everybody with us, and even what seems impossible is made possible by all of us and the solutions that you're giving us, Gearbox. Much, much appreciated. Yes, so we go to Farida. Farida, as I would ask you, given your experience at Gearbox, what is your view when it comes to the role of women within the value chain ecosystem? If I could ask you to say that, how would you answer that in 2 minutes?
Thank you so much, Zuhura. So as a woman in myself in the value chain, I play a key role in the design and the coding and making of machines that are used in manufacturing. At Gearbox, we train other women to do all these things, to operate these machines and actually make these machines. I remember we did assemble a plasma machine that is used for cutting metals right here in Gearbox, and the team that assembled it constituted of myself and 2 other females. So as women, when we are coming into the value chain ecosystem, we are contributing a lot. We have women who are doing the product development, women who are doing the sales, because us as engineers, we can do the product, but we cannot really market it. So we have more women who join us in the team who are doing the marketing for our product and the research. Yeah.
Of course, once you get the product, it's so easy to have the market. And maybe because I wear a commercial hat, there is need for each and every product that can be manufactured. amazing conversations on manufacturing, of course, and value chain, that we're looking at how do we tap on it to reshape the economy of this country. And very excited that in our inaugural Women Economic Forum, we have had amazing panelists that have shared, and more so the one I'm on right now, which is on the manufacturing. I would like to just ask you if we could wrap up on that. Seeing that we are exploring the non-traditional careers, and women are creating a niche within the non-traditional careers. Mary Geshu, what would you like to just sum up as that, and even be able to let us know what next?
Thank you, Zuhura. I'll say the ground has been set, especially for the woman. There's a lot that is going on. It is then our responsibility as women to stand out. We take the opportunity and exploit the ground that has been set for us. We need to move that mind of belittling ourselves that we cannot be able to do this, we cannot be able to do that. I like the young girl who has said that it is brain and not physical work. Manufacturing is brain work. The machines are doing the physical work. In my organization, I have more than 40% women. They are not making tea, they are operating machines. We have trained them. Apart from the technical training that you get from the institution, there's a lot of on training that you can learn in the manufacturing. And as Akinyi Adongo started by saying, we wake up, we are trained how to make tea. It's the same way you can be able to be trained how to operate a machine and let the machine do the technical work, and you only do the brain work that is required in the manufacturing. We need to focus as women. We need to think big. I understand that we have to start with one step at a time. We have to start manufacturing from our kitchen, from the backyard of our homes, but we need to scale up and get industries that have international standards. We need to understand what the consumer needs. We need to come up with products that are quality. We need to complete the regulatory requirements. You cannot access the market if you don't comply with the regulatory requirement. We need to stop seeing those barriers, and why the regulator want us to comply. They take care of the people who we are selling our product. They want to make sure that we are selling the product that comply with the needs of the market. So we need to stop seeing the regulatory as a barrier, and we see it as a body that enhances us to access the market. So we need to scale up and do the big thing. We need to stop looking at ourselves as part of the value chain that supplies to big industries. We need to be owners of those big industries and develop other women to supply us. So as women, let us stand out, let us focus, and let us scale up. Let us sit on the table. Let us be where the policies are made. Let us be where the big boys, we call them the big boys, are, so that we understand how they do businesses and we can be able to scale ourselves to the big businesses that we have been created for opportunity to explore in the manufacturing industry.
Wow, that's good. I like the part of let us sit at the table, because of course at the table is where policies are made, decisions are made, and we are able to elevate and be able to even plan and be able to shape, of course, the manufacturing sector. And we're excited about that, and thank you for that, Mary. For sure, honored to always learn from you. Akinyi Adongo, as we wrap up, I've just seen one of the queries has been on accessibility of, the textile in Kenya. How is that possible? There are those who have the perception that are they really there? Of course, our likes of Rivertex and that. And also to the cotton farmers. Are they getting the worth of what they are planting? Remember, we've also talked about agriculture, which then we're encouraging a lot of people to be able to get into agriculture. And one of the areas, and we've seen the revival of it, is the cotton industry. So again, are the farmers well rewarded in accessing that particular textile? How does that go as you wrap up about the creative industry?
Thank you, Zuhura. And for the question on cotton, if just just to remind us that for quite some time, cotton farming had been, it wasn't really, people had forgotten about it in a way, because when the 52 factories, were closed, it wasn't anything that was bringing in income. So most farmers had left cotton farming because there was nowhere to take them. And just also in the same spirit that we have only three, I think we have 3 companies right now that are doing the spinning and the weaving. That is Rivertex, we have Thika Cloth Mills, and probably Bedi Investment in Nakuru. The intake, the direction really is there. I mean, the government has prioritized, cotton farming to also for us to produce fabrics locally. And some of the guiding policies that the documents that maybe people could actually go out there and look at where the textile and apparel has been prioritized is Kenya Industrial Transformation Program, KITP. We have the Big Four agenda, we have the Vision 2030, and now Buy Kenya, Build Kenya. Those are 4 documents that each and every woman needs to look at and see what are the opportunities that they can actually take up. And especially for the textile industry, I think there's a lot going on, and cotton farmers need to start, planting cotton, because I think also Rivertex is very intentional in getting locally produced cotton, same as Bedi and also Thika Cloth Mill. So there's a goodwill, there's an opportunity, but I think because people got tired of, going back to do this, where am I taking it? Who am I going to sell it to? But now there are all those avenues that I would advise, encourage all of us to get into those spaces. And as Mary Ngeshu has just mentioned, let's get into those offices. Let's ask the questions, knock into those doors that you feel is in your industry and ask the question. There are policy documents that have been prepared. They're just gathering dust because nobody's picking them up. Let's go get those policy documents. Let's get those research that has been done by government and read them. And actually, we do not, I remember the lady who was the speaker before on agriculture said, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. I mean, some things have already been done let's just go pick them and implement them. So I think we are at a good place as a nation, and also in the fashion industry and the textile industry being revived. And not only are we doing cotton, by the way, we also have silk. There are people who are doing silk. I know there's someone doing farming in silk in Makueni. There's silk farming in different parts of the country. There's so much that we can be able to do. There's so much. Even banana, I got to learn that we can get fabrics from banana, from milk, from corn, from, so many things that we are able to get fabrics from. So these are the technologies able to help us. That these are the things that we need to start, working together as private organization and also public organization working together to just get, results or solutions for the problems that we have right now. Otherwise, let's step up, be encouraged, don't be afraid. We were told fear should not be part of what we talk about, but let's step up, let's be part of the solution that we see, the problem that we are seeing. Thank you.
Amazing. Let's step up. And that is again one that Akinyi Odongo, of course, has shared with us. And we are asking women to step up and even men to step up and support, of course, having the women involved in reshaping the economy of this country. This goes to you, Tessa. We know that Mashinani is soon to launch a digital platform for the informal and the informal sector, the formal and in the informal sector. The platform, of course, will offer a holistic solution to match the micro industries with market opportunity. Where are you seeing this? What's the next step in the manufacturing sector that touches on what you do?
Thank you very much, Zura. When we look at the manufacturing value chain, it's very expansive, and we have an opportunity to fall in any role in between, because we start from even just the design, where there's, we have IP owners, we have business owners, there's even factory management, technical engineering. When we look at the production side of things, it could even be from a supplier point of view. There's a sales and marketing that we talked about earlier in terms of being able to get this get this product into the hands of your consumers. And then there's a distribution. In all this chain, somewhere you can play a role. And what we're trying to do here is to enable one to actually access or play a part within that through the platform that we're going to launch very soon. So creating something is innate quality that we all have. Whether you're an engineer or not, I mean, we're able to actually create something and be able to find a way to get that idea into reality. So what we're going to do here as Mashinani is that we're launching a platform where we're going to address different aspects of this value chain and enable, if you are, for instance, a supplier, you will get access to the platform to register yourself, market your product, and be able to give access to others for the raw materials that they're looking for across the country and the region at large. There will be technical support, so we're going to have members of the platform who can interact and exchange best practices and support each other in the business that they're trying to put up. It'll also be a platform whereby we're it's a job platform as well for the manufacturing industries. People who are looking for expertise in that segment are able to come in and look for people to match the roles that they have. There are manufacturing contracts which we're going to negotiate with the private and the public sector, which will advertise there. People are looking to manufacture machines, people who are looking to manufacture products, and are looking for people who are actually doing it wherever they are in whatever region you may be. So there'll also be a marketplace which that has the end product where you're able to actually come and put your stuff there and be able to sell it and get a market for it. So we're trying to give you the full value chain in manufacturing, wherever you may fall, be able to actually get access to whatever market you're looking for.
Again, that's really appreciated. And as we finalize with Farida, what did you tell that woman who's looking at manufacturing, and again the woman at who's able to carry on STEM? What did you tell them today?
Okay, thank you. So I think one of the most notable things when you go into an engineering classroom that I still remember to this day is that there are very few women. And as they transition from school to the industry, they even become fewer. 10 years down the line, the women who are still in the industry are much, much less than the ones who are coming. So for me, being in this career, being in an untraditional career, for me, the most important thing is spearheading mentorship, mentoring the young girls who are coming in. It's very important for me to make the mountain a little bit steeper so that for them they can have a better view than what I've had. For me, growing up, I didn't have a mentor. I didn't know any lady who did engineering. So as I am in this, it's very important that the ladies who come in are mentored. When I joined Gearbox, I was the first lady in the electrical department to join Gearbox, and I was so happy because my supervisor at the time entrusted me with a very big project that I was actually able to deliver beyond the deliverables. And for that, at the moment, we even have 6 more ladies who are with us in the electrical department. These ladies are heading projects. They are very good team members, and they can do most of what everyone can do as an engineer. So if I would have an opportunity to speak to other women, is like, we can do all these things. We can code, we can design, we can do installations, we can do a lot of these. We just have to actually really believe in ourselves and know that it's not a specific thing for the men. It's actually something that we can do. Being in Gearbox too, seeing women walk into the space and actually go around the space and see a woman take them around the space, explain the machines to them, helps me, because I remember there's a lady who was very excited and actually brought the daughter for me to mentor her, because she was like, oh, I didn't know, women can actually do this. And also my call for like maybe mothers, parents who are raising daughters, it's very important to be exposed to engineering, to tech at a very early age. They don't put the girl child candle because of, she can't play with this, she can't play with this, she needs to play with this. Exposure at a very early stage is very important. So some of us only got exposed to the computer at university, and yet we're doing so much great things. We are coding, we are developing apps, we are making a lot of things. But then if we had an early start to this, it would help us. We'd be developing more things. Also, a call to ladies in the engineering and who are also in school, students. Getting skills before you come into the industry is very important. As much as you come into the industry, you have to also remember the men, and you have to be, for lack of better words, twice as better as these people for you to even actually have a space there. But then it doesn't mean it's a hard thing to do. It's really not a hard thing to do. It's doable. Yes.
Thank you, Farida. Amazing panel this was. I'm excited, and of course, soon enough you'll be seeing my next product. I'm excited, and a lot of women are. I can see that from the comments. We thank you so much for participating. Akinyi Odongo, Creative Director from Akinyi Odongo, Kenya. Mary Ngeshu, Managing Director, Line Plus Group. Tessa Caleb, Secretary, Mashinani Fabricators, Jua Kali Association. And Farida Kerubo, Electrical and Electronics Engineer at Gearbox. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, all of you who've been tuned in. Of course, we are now certain that we cannot ignore the manufacturing and value chain sector for us to reshape the economy of this country by unlocking the women's potential. Thank you so much for being with us on manufacturing. Of course, stay tuned in, because other than that, we also have technology and innovation as part of the industry that we use to unlock the potential in these women as we reshape the economy of Kenya. Thank you and good afternoon.